Welcome back to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast that reviews of movies and talks that nerd shit. As always, this is the nerd you're gonna hear, the host of the show, alongside my wonderful co-host, Youngetta.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Italian Cinema Month.
Italian cinema. Well, not all Italian cinema is like the cinema of Federico Fellini, but he did have a big influence on it. With that being said, it's the wonderful Monday, not the first Monday of the month, but it is the first Monday of the month. So that is the beginning of our Federico Fellini month here at the Nerdcore. And as always, we are going to be starting off, as I explained last week, with Nights of Cabiria. But in the meantime, before we get into that, I want to ask what's going on with Brad. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm eating ice cream right now, so
Yeah, I saw that you were chopping down on some ice cream.
Yeah,
What flavor is that?
it's the Tonight Dough.
Yeah, Baskin Robbins.
No. Ben and Jerry's. So it's caramel and chocolate ice creams with chocolate cookie swirls and gobs of chocolate chip cookie dough and peanut butter cookie dough.
Damn,
It's good.
some good stuff
Give
right
you a
there.
sugar rush.
Pretty much, yeah.
Diabetes.
Long day at work.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I expected when you were able to be in Twitch chat with us,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to fucking be at work, man. I don't want to talk to Raul here on on freaking Twitch chat.
I did leave a little early. I was like, I'm fucking
Yeah.
tired. I'm going home.
Yeah, that's amazing, Brad. All right, well, I streamed a little bit for today. We played some what's it called, Tsushima Legends at first, and then we did some spontaneous Warzone with Geo, Burke, and Ayden. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I will say for sure, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I know how bad I can be at the game, and it's not fun to suck that much.
It's not that fun to suck that much.
Yep, it's not. It's not fun to suck that much. But you know what? I do it because I enjoy my time with my friends and I enjoy playing games for you all. So that way you all have a fun time and I just suck.
But by the way, looks like Luis has some questions for me in chat. I don't know if this is the proper place to answer that. I mean, I can.
Brad, what do you recommend alcohol wise for a sweet taste like super sweet?
I always
Also,
go. I always
I'm
go
a
if
bit- I'm a bit tipsy.
I
Look,
also.
this is not the place to be asking these questions.
I mean, I can answer that though. I always go if I want something super sweet. I generally go with wine, like a Stella Rosa Black or a Lambrusco.
All right. Well, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and commence. I do want to say that this is one of my most anticipated months. Before this, I had the thought of doing a Kubrick month, and I was like, you know what, we can always do Kubrick. I don't think we can always do Fellini. I think I mean, unless I pull him out for an international film month, when is the next time I'm going to be able to do a Fellini? Like, it's going to have to take a bit. We always do. We want to finish up the filmography of Kurosawa. We want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We want to finish up the filmography of Tarkovsky, Iñárritu. We literally need one more movie. That's it. Yeah, we literally need one more movie, one more review to watch on here. For
Wait a minute.
Tarkovsky, we need two
Tarkovsky.
reviews.
Oh, we need two. Okay. I thought
Tarkovsky, we need two reviews. And then for what's it called? For Kurosawa, we need like fucking 30.
Well, Kurosawa
He made a lot of movies.
just made a lot of movies.
Yeah, I'm never committing to doing a Hitchcock complete filmography. Nope.
No.
That is a lot of silent films.
I mean, if we really wanted to, that would add content for like 10 years.
Fucking 10 years, basically. Yeah. So I decided I wanted to do what's it called, the Federico Fellini month, and it's hard to pick the first film to start on. Because part of me wants to be like, okay, let me start with one of the early ones, like one of the very, very early ones from like the 40s, so that way you can see that, like, hey, this man, really bombed with his movies.
This man had no money.
No money. Like, even then with this one, This one is a success in the way that it wins, awards, but it still doesn't make enough money. And after this, Federico was pretty much at the brink of bankruptcy. Like he was, his career as a filmmaker was not going to continue if he had not made, if the next movie we discuss was not as successful as it was. So, and you would think like the film that actually was nominated for, foreign language and it won the best foreign language award was the one that wasn't a major success. But the next one we discussed, which was the one that launched him into the spotlight, really was the one that didn't actually get awarded anything. I think it wins a Palme d'Or, but I don't remember. But Federico is a very interesting filmmaker, and what's it called? Born in Rimini, Italy. You know, he goes to fucking film school. He doesn't go to film school. I don't remember that, but I know that he gets work. He works during the Italian neorealist movement with Roberto Rossellini during the end of the period. So like a lot of his work is not considered neorealist, and his work kind of blends like reality and fantasy in a bit. And I tell you, the first movie we discussed today, uh, it barely even touches that. Like we're gonna get into the fantasy aspect like in the next couple of ones. Like we start going like deep and deep and deep into the rabbit hole with that. So we're gonna start off by discussing his this first film for the month, which is La Notte di Cabiria, Nights of Cabiria, which is a 1957, and I will go ahead and read the wonderful, wonderful Wikipedia entry that is not that long. Thank you. So, Nights of Cabiria, or as its Italian pronunciation, La Notte di Cabiria, is a 1957 Italian drama film directed by Federico Fellini and starring Giulietta Massina, François Perrier, and Amadeo Nazari. Based on a story by Fellini, the film is about a prostitute in Rome who searches in vain for true love. Besides the Best Actress award at the Cannes Film Festival for Giulietta Massina, Nights of Cabiria won the 1957 Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. This would be his second foreign language film win. He won it a couple of years before this one with La Strada, also starring Giulietta Massina. Giulietta Massina is the wife of Federico Fellini. So foreign language film. This was the second straight year Italy, and Fellini won the Academy Award, having won for 1956's La Strada, which also starred Giulietta Massina. Produced by Dino Dalirentis, who was pretty much the producer that Fellini kind of stuck with for most of his career. The screenplay was done by Ennio Flaino. And please excuse me, I know how to pronounce some of these names, but some of these names are going to be terribly pronounced because I don't know Italian, fully. But it is gonna, I'll pronounce it a little bit correctly. Ennio Flaino, Tullio Pinelli, who were two writers who Federico worked a lot with during his career, and of course a director a filmmaker that we've actually discussed before on this show, the director of Mama Roma, Pier Paolo Pasolini, and specifically he was on this film because Pasolini knew a lot of the criminal underground, aka he knew a lot of prostitutes, so he had to fix the dialogue to make it seem accurate as to how prostitutes interact with each other. I'm using that phrase as for the phrase that was described back then. Now we would refer to it as sex workers, but yeah, that's kind of what Pier Pasolini was kind of brought on for, and he would stick on with Fellini for Dolce Vita as well, and a couple of other films before kind of going on his way to create his own career. Of course, the wonderful, incredible music is done by Nino Rota and Pasquale Bonagura. And the cinematography, I was going to say, cinematography by Aldo Tonti, edited by Leo Catoso, who is, again, three people, Nino Rota, Aldo Tondi, and Leo Cardozo, are three people who Federico surrounded himself with most of his career and worked with. I believe he worked with Nino Rota until Nino Rota's death. I think there was a couple of movies that there was like one movie he did without Nino, and after that, Nino dies. The film was released on May 10th, 1957 at Cannes Film Festival, and it sits at an hour and um, hold on, 118 minutes. It's an hour and 58 minutes. An hour and 58 minutes. Of course, it is in the Italian language. No budget or box office, but I expect that box office to be low because it did not make that much money. Brad, I'll go ahead and let you get into it because I mean, everybody knows what's called this is my month, so I'm not gonna pick movies that I don't like. I picked one movie this month that I have not seen. Actually, two movies this month that I've never seen. I've never seen Cabiria and I've never seen Satiricon. So you go first. Since this is my month, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I don't know. I guess after watching this movie, all I can say is men are trash.
Yeah.
Men are definitely trash, and apparently all females were prostitutes in Italy at this time. Like every female.
Literally every female you saw.
Every female you saw in this movie was a prostitute.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right. I like this. Like, I mean, what was it? Overacting? I know you brought in that, there would be overacting in this because that's how Fellini wanted it. The thing is, it's Italian. So I'm used to Italians yelling at each other.
And
so you can't really tell it's overacting.
Yeah. It's difficult for us to put the label of overacting when we're watching actors of a different language, right? It's like hard to say, like because like we're not hearing it in the normal, like we don't know the Roman dialect of Italian, like
this could be their normal talking for. I mean, look at the only thing we know Italian is Italian American. So Raging Bull and Sopranos, and guess what? They were all yelling at each other.
Yeah. So
they're passionate people, okay?
Yeah. I loved it every time I saw Cabiria.
I mean, and I
don't know. Love talking with your hands.
It's kind of like you make me watch a black and white film made by a master director. I'm probably gonna love it. Like that's the whole reason I love Kurosawa. With the natural lighting.
I couldn't even give you the freaking new restoration though.
I actually went on Amazon and actually rented it.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one I saw, if that was the new restoration or not, but it was only like $3. So
yeah,
because when you told me that, I was like, well, maybe this one here is the new restoration.
I think it's the same one, Brad.
It's probably the same one.
Yeah.
But even with that, like it's aged just fine. The story that it's like One Wonderful Sunday with Kurosawa. Like this story, you could recreate today. You could. I mean, maybe less prostitutes, but you could definitely, have this relate into today's time. I think the acting. I love the acting. Honestly, I love main actress. I love that one actor that I guess he was supposed to be a big movie star in Rome. That's what I was getting at. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it was a big movie star anyway, and for a good reason. That was a handsome man. That was like, all right. So, this was a wonderful picture. I don't have too many faults on it. I mean, other than the I just feel like there was a moment like right when she gets, I'm going to say it, she gets punked the second time, and she's just looking at the camera, and this woman is able she's not crying, but her eyes are watering, they're welling up with tears, and it's just like you get choked up there, and you're like, I will take care of you.
So that's one of the most famous shots in Fellini's filmography. That I can't lie to you all. That ending got me. It got me in tears. I was like, Because if we're talking the journey of Cabiria when we start, she's just, we literally see her get punked by another dude.
She gets
She
robbed
gets
and almost
thrown
drowned,
into an ocean, into a river.
and she still wants to be with the guy. It's
Yeah,
like this is a woman who just wants to find love. She
yeah,
wants to be taken away, and she thinks she almost has her chance. It's kind of like being she was punked 3 times in this
yeah,
because she thinks she's going to end up with the movie star, and right as she looks like she's about to, then she
yeah.
has to go hide in the bathroom with the puppy.
hmm So I was gonna say, something I really, first of all, this movie's masterful. I think this movie's incredible. It's a damn shame that it took me this long to watch this film. I think it's incredible. It's beautiful in so many different ways that I can barely understand myself. One thing that I commend Fellini on, especially, is the way that right off the bat we understand what time period this is. This is right after the war. The country is barely starting to reconstruct itself.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, you have a lot of poor people, like the people that are living in the caves, the people like Cabiria who they afford a home, but look at that home. That
It ain't much of a
home.
house. It ain't much of a house. It's basically falling
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
But it was a home, and she
exactly.
had it, and she owned it, and she was almost paying it off. And then at the end, my God, I wanted to strangle that dude.
Yeah, yeah. So right off the bat like where we are in time, and I think that especially is what allows us to begin our path of kind of relating with, well, not relating, kind of connecting with Cabiria. And there's a couple of instances that I will say that I was like, wow, like first of all, the performance by Giulietta Messina was incredible. I mean, it's beautifully acted. Um, there's two people that she actually gives her real name to. Like she gives it to the guy who was giving money to the poor people. I mean, giving food to the poor people and materials that they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course she gives it to what's it called? To the
The
man who,
magician.
yeah, thinks that she's gonna what's it called end up being with forever. Um, but throughout this, it's an incredible journey of like optimism, of pain, but this pain that keeps bringing her back up. Like she is obviously in a very very tough situation where like I can't escape this place that I'm in. Like the economy is barely starting to reconstruct itself. This country that once was massive and had this great power was destroyed by fascism, and now I have to roam the streets and sell myself.
Well,
And
and another part is she actually said that she never had to live under the bridge.
yeah,
And at the end of this, you're going, this woman's going to have to live under the bridge now.
yeah, yeah, because she gave it all up. And
Yeah.
but it's also it's interesting how like Fellini also says like like here you like we are so desperate in these times, like these people are because you pretty much have had everything taken away from you the past couple of years during the war and during the time of Mussolini's reign, and then you have this period in between when the government falls and when the government what's it called picks itself back up and the economy is reconstructed and everything's good. You have this time period in between where people are kind of grasping for something, like there's a sort of hope. It's like I need to find something that will put me into a better position than where I find myself in, and that is what Julieta, Maria Cabiria, is looking for. She's like, I'm looking for love because I need somebody to care for me, but I'm also looking for love because it's the way out of where I'm in right now. And
Yeah.
that's why she gets so hopeful when she meets that movie star and she's like, this is it. This is
This is
it.
my way out.
I'm gonna have sex with him and I'm gonna ask to meet him again and we'll fall in love and I will be married and I'll be married to a rich movie star and I'm not gonna have to worry where my next meal is gonna have to come from.
And, she even said it. He was a nice guy. He was as nice as his house. And he really was. I mean, he was kind of like very cold there in the beginning, but he
Yeah.
seemed pretty nice.
Yeah. Also
Other
just
than other than for slapping the woman, I mean,
yeah.
but when back in the time, it was thought that if
Yeah,
they were having a moment, a slap would work.
work. Not really.
I
um,
usually make more mad, but
yeah,
Italians, I don't know.
yeah. And also just just Cabiria and how energetic and nowadays she would be labeled quirky, but she's very energetic. She's optimistic. She's clinging on to the idea that life is going to get better.
And
And,
I think she holds on to that even after,
oh yeah,
like, after that third getting punked.
yeah, because what's it called? And it's beautiful. The kind of that it's beautiful. The what's it called? The build up to that. Like she's on the floor pleading for the man who just punked her for the last time to kill her, to just end it all, just finish it because I don't want to do this. Like I gave you my life savings, my house money, every single piece of money that I can. You were supposed to throw me off the cliff, kill me, and you couldn't do it because deep down inside, that man, even though what's it called? Yes, this movie basically is saying men are trash, but if we analyze this, we understand that where this need to steal money from these people is coming from is because this economy is collapsed. Like
They're all starving.
they're starving. Somebody has to eat, and she's pleading on the ground. She's asking for him to kill her, and he can't even do that because deep down inside, I mean, this man sees himself in her too. We never once get an idea of what this man works in.
Yeah.
Like
No, and we don't even. I don't even think his name was fucking Oscar. I think it was
I don't
all ploy.
all a ploy, and then from there she wakes up and then she goes on this big beautiful stroll with these kids who are to be the future of of the country that is being rebuilt. And
Did you find it kind of weird they just appeared out of nowhere?
yeah, that's true. But God,
But
if I
that's I mean, that's old classic cinema. I mean, Kurosawa did the same fucking thing, just things appearing out of nowhere. Like, where did you come from? Out of the forest.
also just freaking Nino Rota's beautiful score. I mean that guitar, that beautiful accordion, and the trumpets, and just how beautifully placed they are. That scene, that ending would not be as emotional if it wasn't for that score in the back. Just that music playing along, and the angle that we have what's it called Messina's face in, and it's like it's beautiful, man. The cinematography too. There's a bunch of frames in here that like wow.
Very
One of
good
my
framing.
favorites is when she has her umbrella and it's the rain is pouring down on her and this man comes in asking for her to come in and she's just ignoring him like no, I'm waiting for my man to come in because I'm done with this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just beautifully framed.
I like a lot of the different religious aspects in this movie too, because it's basically them looking to God to save them in a lot of ways. Because you had a lot of sick, a lot of disabled at this time, and they were going there looking for a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And then when nothing changed, yeah, she just loses it.
Yeah, that one of the when they're going to talk to the Virgin Mary has to be one of my biggest, one of the biggest like emotional scenes for me too. Everybody just pleading and crying, and they're looking around like if like what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, well, they ain't got nothing else. Like, there's the government isn't gonna fix things magically. They're gonna start asking God.
Well, and then when the uncle fell and just slammed his head into the bottom of the statue, basically.
Yeah.
I was like, ow.
Yeah.
I mean that like he hit hard.
Yeah. By the way, Luis did buy me the Essential Fellini box set. I cannot wait to rewatch this film with a new restoration. I watched the trailer up on the internet because they were doing the screening for it during the pandemic. Because of course, with all these box sets, they usually do a theatrical run of the films before the box set is announced. And by God, it looks beautiful. It looks like they've done a really good amount of work on it. But yeah,
I thought this version was pretty good. Like, I mean, I didn't find very like. Then again, it's black and white. It's got natural lighting. I'm gonna like the thing. Yeah. But I've seen Kurosawa that's been restored that looked a little worse just because that's just how old some of those films are.
Now wait until we go next week. We are looking at La Dolce Vita, which is filmed on Cinescope, so it's beautiful film stock, and it's really wide, and it really gives you that cinematic feel of the film.
Is that what Tarantino uses sometimes?
Yeah, I
Cinescope. It
think he
sounds
does use
familiar.
Cinescope. Yeah, Cinescope was like, especially at this time, it was barely starting to be used. So like,
Mhm.
it was like really, really, really starting to pop off. Just barely starting to pop off, and like Jesus Christ, when you see next week's movie, bro, like, fuck. But yeah, this
Does, it,
movie.
does he ever do any films in color?
Yes, Satiricon and and what's it called? Amarcord will be on color. On
Hmm.
color.
That would be interesting to see just how, because I see how he uses the black and white color
Hmm.
palette, and I really like it.
Yeah.
So it's be interesting to see how I feel about what he does in the color palette, because I know it's not going to be any Tarkovsky with the fucking bright greens and you know.
Yeah, I know. No. But I mean, I'll tell you this, man. After watching this film, can you believe that this film bombed as it did at the box office?
I mean, I adore this movie in a way. I mean, well, depending where it opened at. Where did it open at? If it opened in Italy
Yeah,
during
well,
this time,
that's where it bombed at because it was just what's it called? Like I said, it wins its award, but like it's tough, bro. Like it bombed at the Italian box office, and then once it gets its release in the United States, is where it starts getting traction. But that was way after, like you know,
well,
Fellini made
and
the money then. Like,
well, like you mentioned, like it was hard times all around during this time.
hmm yeah. So I'm trying to think about the production design here, just how we're kind of following these characters, but it's just hard to not discuss about who the character, just how well constructed that character is, and how generally it feels like just it doesn't even matter what the profession is. It feels like a person. It feels like
Well,
a person that we're
yeah,
trying to
she
get to know.
she doesn't seem like a character. She seems like she's just herself,
Yeah,
which adds to us caring about her
yeah.
in a way. Um, Especially because she has a sense of humor. She does.
Oh
When
yeah,
she's leaving that house, she's like, "Where the fuck do I get out?
yeah,
How do I get out of here?"
yeah. Or like even just those little what's it called, the mannerisms that Julieta does, like just like when she's being like when Alberto is asking for her, like, hey, come over here, she's like,
Who, me?
"Hmm?" Or when they're dancing in there and like she's just doing her mambo and everybody's staring at her and she's just like y'all don't dance like this.
Apparently, everybody likes the mambo.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, just one of the most I gotta say one of the most heartbreaking scenes too. Just having all those people look at her like, oh, so this is how the poor dance. It's like once again just another kind of separation in the class on how different because at this
Well,
point there was no middle class. There was
well,
a
and
high
and
class.
even
And a
the
low.
high class prostitutes like
Yeah,
snubbed their nose down at her.
yeah. When at the end, like y'all are one and the same. We live around the same neighborhood, and we are no different.
Yeah.
Like the only other person seriously, the only other person who does not see Cabiria as like like not a symbol, as an opportunity, or as somebody less than her, is literally the man who goes out there to give money to give food to the poor. That's the only person who doesn't see her as her profession or just being another poor person around.
Sees her as a human being, and that guy. I think he had to have some. Um, I'm trying to think of the word. Some positive effect on her.
Yeah, I mean enough for her to give him his real name.
Yeah,
That was big. Like
because
we literally thought her name was Cabiria.
yeah, because she was like, why are you doing this? And he's like, because it's the right thing to do, really. I don't
Pretty
know.
much, pretty much.
Every 9 days, I come out and find the people in the cave, and then she knows some of these people in the cave, and you're like, is she starting to think that if she continues in this lifestyle, that's going to be her? And it just you get Fellini paints a perfect picture of the time they're living in at this
Yeah,
moment, and it's a rough one.
it's a really rough one, and it doesn't do it. And this is something. So like, this is something that I think comes from also the help of Pier Pasolini. Like never throughout this film do we see her having sex with these men. We never for also that could have been a big product of its time because of course this is the 50s and what's it called? There's still some sort of censorship going on. Like there's still some censorship going on.
Hmm.
There was actually some parts censored in this film before at the time of its release. If I remember correctly, hold on, let me go to my Wikipedia article. I think it said it right here. There was a specific part. I don't know why that was what's it called censored. Uh, so hold on. Um, uh, no, no. I think. Oh, so in 1998, the film was released, newly restored, and now including crucial 7-minute sequence with a man giving food to the poor people living in caves that censors had cut after the premiere. Ask me.
Why? Like I can get it if it's like you have the prostitute fight scene and like a titty comes out. Like I get that.
Yeah, but nothing.
No.
Oh, like it's like there was another film that I watched in my Italian film course that literally they censored a child sitting on the toilet and nothing was showing, literally just legs, just sitting on the toilet for like a split second. And
Well, and wasn't that in the Yee Yee also? Like even China allowed that to be shown.
yeah, it's like it's ridiculous. But yeah, like what part of poor people getting food requires it being censored? Like
Maybe at the time the political system, and then
yeah,
didn't want the poor people getting ideas.
yeah,
Like maybe they deserve more from their government, like a $2,000 check.
yeah. So yeah, yeah. But a lot of directors would hold on to. I mean, up until this point, our wonderful director who we reviewed one of his films, 400 Blows, Francois Truffaut, believed that this was Fellini's best film to date. Completely understandable. So, yeah, I think this film is really more. It's like it was. They also understand why this film probably didn't make as much money at the time. When did you ever see a prostitute being shown as the heroine of the film? That
Not
was
during that time.
really rough waters to tread on.
And like it's a prostitute. That's the main character of this film.
Yeah.
Like when has that ever? That's still kind of taboo.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it with what is it, Pretty in Pink or some shit?
You think so?
Yeah, you got it in that, and what's really only one that comes to the top of my head. I'm sure there's more.
Tangerine is a film that focuses on sex workers from Sean Baker. It's really, really interesting too in the way that it's depicted. But like, and there are main characters. But this time it's 57. Literally, the country's coming out of fascism. Fascism had its incredibly large censors and what was not allowed. And like, was the society at the time ready to see a prostitute as a heroine? Probably not, and that's why most of this probably did not make as much money as it probably deserved to.
Which is kind of disappointing in a way because honestly, you don't even really, the way you see prostitutes or how they're pictured, probably even back then, you don't get it from these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even realize they were prostitutes until like I realized it like a little after. It's like, why is all these ladies on the road? And then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know why they're working, and now I know why they're in the corner.
yeah. And then the dude takes her out. And you're like, that's a pimp. All right.
Yeah. It's wild. I'm just checking before we give our scores. I'm just interested. Okay, yeah. Roger Ebert gave this 4 stars.
Oh wow! Yeah. Look, he got one right. and I'm guessing it's because the dude was white.
Pretty much, right? Oh man, but if there anything else that left to say, we'll go ahead and get into our scoring.
Can I just say the architecture in this, where he had his shots, gorgeous, fucking gorgeous, and how he set up some of these shots, like very smart, very incredible, in how he gets like even like the simple setup of the car coming up to the actor's house. He's like has it far back like this, and you see the car drive up. That's even very smart. It's a very smart how he set up a lot of these shots.
we're gonna start. So once we go into next week, as we watch La Dolce Vita 1960, you're gonna be starting to see a specific shot that Federico kind of takes onto.
Dutch angle.
He'll have the camera, but he'll start pulling back. You'll start pulling back and kind of walking with your with possibilities. So like there'll be one that's like a sliding, but it's kind of pulling back as it's going. And it's a really interesting Federico shot. Of course, also one of his my favorite shots of his is how he depicts stairs. Like you'll literally have the camera down here and it'll have it like all the stairs kind of intertwining together, kind of making this weird spiral, and it's like, what the fuck, man?
I'm
But
trying to think if he had any stairs in this.
nah, no, nothing
I
of
don't
that.
remember any.
Once again, I'm thinking that things have to be a little bit limited, right? We have to
Yeah,
kind of
probably.
think about it like, hey, man, it's it's a little bit hard to budget everything into this, but because some of these, by the way, I don't know if it's just my eye, but I recognize some of these like architecture being used from not just Rome Open City, but what's it called, Mama Roma. A lot of that stuff kind of seemed familiar from Mama Roma, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I need to rewatch and also rewatch Mama Roma. God, I've been overdue a rewatch of Mama Roma for a while now. But yeah, so without further ado, I mean, I'll just go ahead and go into my story. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this what it is and what it deserves. This gets a fucking 10. What's it called? And expect me to possibly give out more tens this month, but yeah, this is a 10 to me. It's incredible, and it's an absolute shame that I did not watch this before I did before now, because I mean this is essential, essential Fellini, like the box set, right?
Yeah.
All right, Brad. Let's go ahead and hear it. What are you going to give Federico Fellini's Nights of Cabiria?
Like I said, I don't really see any problems with this movie. It's very well done. It's very well acted. I mean, I can also see why Fellini married Giulietta Messina. I can see that.
Beautiful. Even when you see her in like Julie the Spirits, I believe it's 60 something, like 67. Yeah, she's a lot older, but god damn, is she beautiful.
So, and I just think it's just a very well done movie. And yeah, I mean, Kurosawa will always be king to me for
Yeah.
black and white movies with natural lighting, but Fellini does very fucking well. And I'm impressed by it. So I give it a 10.
All right, man. All right. Well, you hear from Brad, the first 10 of the month from both of us. That's odd. I was like, God, man, I don't know if this man's gonna. It's hard, man, because like I'm always like, this is a director who's, and you're gonna see it much more in the coming movies. Like his style is gonna start getting zany, and it's gonna start getting really whimsical, and you're gonna be like, okay, this guy's got a guy like dancing around, like just acting all crazy, but like and he's gonna start blending fantasy into it, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going
See,
on?
but I think the thing he has going for him is it's Italian. Like, I should expect this from Italians. Like,
Yeah,
I expect the yelling in like every scene. That's the dialogue. They're just
yeah,
yelling. I expect that.
yeah. I can't wait for you to. I can't wait for you to watch Armored Core, because there's a specific scene that when I watched it in 35 millimeter at the museum, it was just like it was so funny to me. It's just so funny with this specific scene, and and I was like throughout the whole time after I was even repeating the words in Italian and how he was saying it. But I'll leave it at that for now. But yeah, that specific scene just like would kill me. How funny it was. So we'll see you guys next week as we look at his 1960 Palme d'Or winning film, award winning film, La Dolce Vita, which translates to The Sweet Life, but that's literally the name of the film, La Dolce Vita. Uh, and we further examine the director that will come to term a literal word used around our world, Fellini-esque. He creates the word Fellini-esque, and actually, a lot of his movies seem to create freaking words. Like Vitelloni. Vitelloni was not a word, but then it was created, or bidone was not really a word, it was created. Amarcord was not a word, and then it was translated and then officially made a word for the Italian language. So yeah, we will keep going through the Fellini filmography this month. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you all so much, Brad, for Saturday's morning review. I think we can go ahead and pick one, right? Because what's it called? Let's just say things are looking good, right? We can pick a movie right now off
Yeah,
the bat. So what are we gonna do? You want to do you want to say let's go ahead and do Nomadland?
sure.
All right, so for this Saturday morning review, which is going to be live on twitch.tv/the Nerdcore, at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday, live for everybody, and then it'll be available for 2 days extra, for 2 days early for patrons. Will be Chloe Zhao's 2020 film Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand, and we will discuss that on Thursday. If you're part of our patrons who get this episode a little bit early before anybody else, you will get tomorrow a movie commentary as we look at. So I believe the next one is the Grand Budapest Hotel. So yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson's the Grand Budapest Hotel tomorrow, and if you want to get in that, just need to pledge $1, and that's all you need to do to get the movie commentary. So for you to listen to our commentary, you can watch the film with us. There's no rules for that, but
Is that this
commentary,
week?
huh?
Is that this week?
Mm, Tomorrow,
Okay.
today, for those who are listening on the public. So, yeah, with that being said, I want to thank our wonderful Patreon supporters because they're the ones who make this show happen and all the shows that we have running. They help. I hate the term, but they help keep the lights on, right?
I mean, they help get our setups even better. Cause I don't know if you, I'll just bring it back. First episodes, literally on the phone.
Yep.
Now look,
Yep.
he's got a mixer and a microphone. I got a better microphone. He's got a double monitor. All thanks to y'all.
Yeah. Luis, don't trouble yourself, man. You take care of the stuff at home and make sure your mom is okay and everything, and then you decide to bring the Essential Fellini box set. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, that box set ain't going nowhere, man.
That box set ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you right now. As much as I would love to see that restoration of La Dolce Vita, the version we're gonna watch, it ain't half bad at all. I mean, whew.
I didn't think this version was bad.
Well, Brad,
Like
these are 4K restorations we're talking about.
I get that, but again, I think you think that I'm used to like just seeing like the grandest of film versions, and it's like it's like, and I go back to Curacao, and I'm like, yes, the restoration helps, but are they like the prettiest thing ever? Some of them aren't.
I'm thinking about Taste of Cherry, right? That 4K
That
restoration.
yeah, and I will say, Kiarostami, he needs the restorations because I think that man filmed on like some of them must have been like a $20 camera he found.
Which is wild, Brad, because if you think of it, like I was reading throughout, because of course there is a Tarkovsky restoration of the mirror coming. I don't know yet if it's 2K restoration or if it's 4K, but all the what's it called? All the restorations we have right now of these Tarkovsky films are either 2K or below.
That's crazy.
Imagine when we get a Stalker 4K restoration.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Fuck, man.
That shot where it goes from the what the fuck's it called? Sepia. From the sepia, and it goes into the nature shot with the full color. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It'll blow my mind.
Yeah. I think the only ones that are 4K restored are literally the ones that are not from Criterion. The Kino Lorber ones, Nostalgia and The Sacrifice. So,
I mean, for the new restoration, did they accidentally catch one on fire and have to restore it again?
no, they're I would hope whoever restored the mirror is cleaning that correctly and making sure that nothing even touches it, anything at all. You make sure that everything is good, because I feel like Tarkovsky would literally resurrect from the grave to scream at someone if we somehow damage that restoration. But,
he's Russian. I think he could do it.
yeah. But yeah. So we want to thank the Patreon supporters, of course, our wonderful producers, Cassie and Sarah, associate producers, and our wonderful executive producer, Shane, who you can follow at where, Brad?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at XSRK_.
Yeah, even though they are not a executive producer anymore, I do want to give one final shout out right now. Grayson literally was here for with us for years now. I think 2 years at least.
Crazy. When we probably longer. Like
Anybody deserves a break right now is Grayson. Like
yeah,
Grayson was our first producer ever. Literally did not have to do that. Like I want to really thank Grayson, man. Like we get it, where we are in the world right now. This is the least of your worries that you need to be paying.
yeah. I mean like, and I always say it, like if you gotta take care of shit at home, don't
Yeah,
worry about giving us money. We're gonna be good.
yeah. We're gonna
We'll
be good.
find a way.
We're gonna be.
Like
Chances are, I'll still fucking do them. What's it called? Commentaries, even if we're not at 20, right?
yeah,
You know, we did it. And that has just become a great. What's it called? A
that's a
great
fun thing. That's a
fun
fun
thing.
thing to get
Yeah.
Luis and Ayden and anyone else in there just to talk shit about a bad movie scene.
But I just want to thank Grayson so much, man. Thank you for believing us and believing in us and believing in me and what we've done here. And I want to thank you so much for that. So you can follow Grayson Barker at Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram, Warlord One Bar on Twitter. Once again, bro, thank you so much. You have no idea the time that you spend with us, helping us out here. It means truly so much, and it's just we will never be able to repay you that wonderful help you've given us.
I mean
Because of
that
you,
was a
a
ton
lot of
of
this
support.
here was possible because of you.
Yeah, that was a ton of support.
Hmm. So take a break. You deserve it more than anybody, man. So thank you so much, man. Of course, we want to thank our writers. What's our writers? Brown Rice 96. We can follow him.
Bryce, love
Right?
you. We need to do the Terminator series.
Yeah. Let's get through some of the movies that we need to do right now, like the three ones that we have access to right now that we can review for people, and then we can start bringing back Tony for what's it called.
Do you mean Kill Bill?
Yeah, killer, right? Yeah, I need to move my Xbox over here. The only reason I can't freaking watch them is because when I put a disc into my freaking, I need to turn off the HDCP on my PS4. I got to turn it back on, convert it back off when I have to stream and stuff. And it's like, and then also I kind of don't want to sit down on this fucking chair to watch this movie anymore. Gets annoying. But I'll bring my Xbox over here and I'm gonna watch these films. But Brown Rice 96 on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, whatever you gotta do. And then our wonderful Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Real nerdy at Real Nerdy Dad on Twitter. And our wonderful showrunner, Taymor
Taymor.
23, Taymoor 23. Thank you so much, man. And I'm going to get to work on that ad for your podcast that you asked me to make soon. So thank you so much, man. It means a lot to us that you believe in what we're doing here. We hope we're doing you some justice here, man.
And I'm glad he's feeling better.
Yeah, God, I'm glad he's feeling better, man. I hope, my friends, if you can't pick up something heavy, please don't try picking up something heavy.
I mean, if you got guys to help you,
Yeah.
get the help.
Yep. For Taymor, man. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much. And as well, let's go. We will be live tomorrow. Well, not live tomorrow. We will be live on Thursday for our Saturday morning review. And without a further ado, I bid you all a arrivederci. Brad, send them out.
All right, bro. Thank you being host as always. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to everyone who joined us in chat. Specifically, it looks like Drunk Luis. So thank you, sir. And I guess to end this episode, I'll just say be safe in those streets. Young Yoda out.